Hello, it's Phil Harvey here at the Big 5G event in Austin, and I'm speaking with Ashish from Capgemini. We just met, but I know a bit about what you've been up to, so thanks for making some time for us.
Thank you, Phil, and I'm honored to be here and talking to you. Thanks for your time.
I'm interested in Capgemini's work with 5G carriers now, but before we get to the now, I want to back up a second and talk about the NTIA's 5G challenge. And so Capgemini was not just involved in that, but did very, very well. Can you give us a bit of background as to what it did and why that matters to the industry at large?
Oh, absolutely. So last year's NTI 5G challenge, Capgemini participated for the CU part, and we won all three rounds. We were
Okay.
the ultimate winners, and we got a lot of insights about what the defense industry is looking into it and how our product is covering all those challenges and better than others. So it was really encouraging. In fact, this year, we are participating again, not just with CU, with an end-to-end system, which is CU, DU. We are integrating with RUs, taking care of the front haul interfaces.
Right.
So, and we are already on stage 3. We have
Okay.
cleared first 2 stages. So
Yeah, that's
it's
right. It
all very
goes until
encouraging.
like September, right? Or it goes till later in the year.
Yes.
But I think the more important, or the one of the important points about that whole process, yes, it is for the government and the defense industry primarily, but it does show. It gives vendors a chance to showcase their interoperability and their ability to sort of, I guess, react to challenges in terms of.
Oh, absolutely. It also means we are flexible.
Right.
If you want certain thing that is not already there, we have the capability to quickly turn it around and prove ourselves in that lab.
Right. Yeah, because it wasn't just a closed here's some things, please deliver those and we'll look them
No,
over.
it was
They were
not.
constantly changing
Exactly.
what they needed
exactly,
and the requirements.
Exactly.
Okay.
So fun fact, we were the first 5G CU that got deployed.
Okay.
Fujitsu
Interesting.
picked up Capgemini, and we were the first CU they picked up, and they went live with 5G.
Okay.
So our capabilities go way back when 5G was in nascent stage.
Right.
And now we're pretty mature.
So-
And that's the reason I think that we could win and get to the second stage as well.
Okay. Well, we
This
don't
year.
want to jinx it for this year, but you're involved this year, so that's good. So how does this translate, or I mean, maybe more broadly, how is Capgemini working with operators to help them profit from 5G services and kind of monetize, the connectivity that they worked so hard to put out there?
So multiple ways, and let me back up to ORAN story first.
Okay.
So with ORAN disaggregating all the components, there is need for that system integrated role, which it makes that role even more powerful.
Sure.
Because now operators need somebody who can stitch it all together, own it up, and deliver. Earlier it was NEPs, which can still be NEPs if they act as system integrator, but Capgemini's position becomes very strong in that context. So we have RIC, we have XApps, RApps, we have the whole RAN infrastructure, CU, DU, core, we have the edge compute, which is not part of the RAN, but we have the
Right.
entire ecosystem. And we are working with Open RAN, where we are getting into these multi-vendor setups, and we are proving the test beds. We are executing the test beds so that it's ready for operators to deploy. So this whole open infrastructure makes the SI role of Capgemini even stronger. And
Okay.
the fact that we come with reference, so we're not a software company, we don't sell these softwares, but we
Sure.
have reference stacks, which helps our ODMs, OEMs, NEPs to get to the market more quickly. So it reduces the time to market. At the same time, we work with Open RAN to ensure that they're deployment ready.
Yeah, so that operators, I guess, are not, if they want to go down the path of an open network with a little more supplier diversity, they're not stuck in this situation. Well, I guess I had somebody else put it this way: they can still consume the network the way that they're used to consuming it.
Exactly. And operators are used to a long testing cycle.
Sure.
You get anything new to them, they'll test it over a year, and then they'll deploy it. With all this infrastructure getting in place, that is happening offline, and it's ready for them to consume,
Okay.
which makes it accelerate in terms of deployment and monetization.
And in the monetization space, what sorts of engagements does Capgemini have to kind of get carriers to where they're doing a little bit more than just providing the base connectivity?
So one of the things, like we are creating this private network blueprints
Okay.
with industry-ready RANs, with industry-ready cores. We work with ISVs to ensure that the edge compute platforms are also ready with the services. Recently in MWC Barcelona, we demonstrated a digital twin of a quarry, actual mine in Alaska that we were showing in Spain.
Okay.
And that was to showcase that private 5G can bring about that transformation in the industry where anybody sitting anywhere in the world can operate a mine. You don't have to be in Alaska to really operate and manage. There's similar use cases in defense, in enterprise, in industrial. We are more into, you see so many warehouse deployments. We are seeing now operators getting into ports. So recently we won a deal where we are working with the CSP and they're working to transform the ports with AI/ML-based applications to monitor the ports, to define areas. So there's so many use cases. So now 5G is beyond just the calls and texts and high-speed data. 5G monetization is more, it's getting the operators into new fields. Right, for industrial, for enterprise. So the scope is, it's expanding.
Yeah, I agree. I think that's where it kind of gets interesting because now we're not just delivering a generic network and hoping to charge enough to recoup, but it's about delivering an overall platform and then maybe breaking it out into specialized networks depending on the application, or like in ports and mines and stuff like that, the industry application. Yeah, it's a pretty fascinating space, but like you say, there's a lot of help that's required along the way because these are very new businesses for a lot of carriers too.
So one of the things that's it's key for Capgemini sustainability. We are developing the suite of RFs and XAPs for energy saving, and that is ensuring we have done one deployment in one of the Europe operators, and right now we see a 16% saving in the energy. And that's to begin with. And it's not a switch off and on light, it's more the modern dimmer. So we've started dimming the knob, but we hope to take it up to 30%. It's not just environment. The thing that lures operators towards it, of course, they have energy goals to meet till 2030. But then it saves their operations cost. OpEx is something that's really big for operators. So imagine, I was looking into the data, US alone spends like, in terms of 20s of millions in energy for only the RAN part. Imagine just a software piece that can tweak certain knobs, turn off cells, turn on cells, many technicalities to it. But that is saving 16% to begin with, and the target is to reach to 30%. That's huge.
Yeah, you take out that OpEx and then suddenly the network that's already built becomes a lot more profitable.
Exactly.
Let's leave it there for now. Ashish, thank you so much for taking the time and for being at the event.
Thank you so much. It's a pleasure.